Hello, my friends. It's late January 17th, I think, of 2020. And it's icing. Ice is this type of ice is a climate change phenomenon. The first 27 years of my life, it never iced a single time. The second 20 years, it iced once or twice. Now we almost never get through a winter without ice because of the nature of energy in the atmosphere and water and melting points and all that stuff. I did a thread about this morning on Twitter, but I'm not going to try to explain the whole story here. You can either believe me or not. It's entirely up to you. But the whole world is covered with ice. All this grass, each blade of grass is sheathed in ice. My sidewalk is covered with ice. My porch is covered with ice. My bandit is walking on ice. And I'm using this tripod in one hand, and I have my walking stick in the other hand. It's one of these old person rubber foot sticks. Although I'm pretty capable for a 72-year-old guy, I'm pleased to know that. I can't possibly survive the sorts of falls that I could 40 years ago. And so, look out, Bandit, we're coming, honey. I'm not too proud to take a stick to keep me upright when I need to. I'm walking as fast as I can here. I'm going to go up to the barn and do a little something and show you a little something. Prior to the 1970s, this would be snow. You know, I'd be walking through 4 to 6 inches of snow right now. And but since climate change, the accumulated energy of more than thousands of nuclear bombs put out is in the atmosphere. The winds aloft are colder than they used to be, or I mean warmer than they used to be. Thermal energy there. And as a result, instead of crystallizing into snow, the water condenses into rain. And then when it gets down here, it's still wintertime, surprise. And so it freezes on contact. And it's just slicker than you can possibly imagine, because all the ice has just momentarily liquid water on top of it to act as even more of a lubricant and make it even slicker than regular ice, because it's falling as liquid and then freezing after it hits the ground. Abraham's staying under his roof today. If it's raining regular rain, he goes outside to get rained on. He doesn't like to be indoors through a rain. You know, he always has access to under his roof stall where he is now, and he always has access to his indoor stall. I never shut him off from that. He can get into it every day, every moment of every day. And when it rains regular rain, even quite chilly rains, he'll go out and stand in it. He knows what he's doing. He's no fool. You know, this is how donkeys get showers. They have running water, but they can't turn it on and off. It just falls out of the sky. See how much ice is on there? That's what we've got. The earth. This symptom directly addresses the pathogen. We and our speed is the pathogen, and this symptom, he doesn't want to be touched right now because that pushes that cold against him. Usually he likes to be petted, but I don't blame him. He's smart. Anyway, this symptom, this ice, helps to alleviate our extreme speed, which is the pathogen. So it's, you know, it's directly, it's like pus is full of white blood cells and antigens to fight off the pathogen that's infected our body. This is Abe's house. We're going to go in here. Usually I can walk up here in about, I don't know, 90 seconds. It's taking me 6 minutes today. Let me show you what's going on, what I have in mind and what I'm trying to do here. This gate, I just fixed this gate. I put those 2 hinge bolts in a couple days ago. I had just had this gate wired up roughly, and those hinge bolts make it so that it can swing, work as an actual gate. It's got a chain latch. Most of my latches are chain latches, chains and nails. We're in Abe's stall here. I think I've shown you this many times. There's the door to outside. There's the nearby hay storage, and there's you know, the rest of the stall and stuff. In the back of the barn, there's a room with a wooden floor. 2 rooms with a wooden floor back here. This room that's closed up here has a wooden floor. I believe it used to be the corn crib, although I'm not certain. Right now it's got crud stored in it, and I got to get that out of the way. It's all old straw or old hay. Old. Nobody will eat it. It's been, Lord knows how long ago it was forgotten in here. I got to get all that out of here to turn this into a room that I can use. And then this floor here is dirt. This raised floor in front of us, that's just basically stacked bales that have been there for years, decades. That's old wood. You know, the wood's here because it has some value, and I can't bring myself to throw it away, and I don't have any place better to put it. We live very much on a thou shalt not waste law. This is a wooden floor. It's hard to see it here, but you can see there where I kicked it off. And it's 2x stock. It's good. It's hard. And I've got hay in here now. This is not old. This is this year's hay, but this hay was rained on twice before baling, after windrowing and before baling, and that's really a bad deal. But I've as I stacked this, I sprinkled rock salt and then on each bale, and then on top of that I sprinkled dried molasses, which is basically powder, red sugar powder. There's some. I sprinkled that on them, on each bale, and that makes the rained on hay palatable, so the animals will eat it. And although it's not highly nourishing, in the bitter winter, the #1 critical thing to have for your animals is just plain energy, carbohydrates, something that will burn and keep the fires lit. The reason that we're back here today is because on Monday, today's Friday, And on Monday, Sydney, Abe's farrier's coming. And she's tough. She's tough as nails. You know, it's going to be supposed to be a high of 16 and a low of 9 on Monday. And she would work outside in his regular stall and never complain for a minute. But I really don't want to. I want to work in where it's halfway sheltered. And so I want to bring him in here. Now that means that he has to voluntarily, there he is, he's come in, he's in his stall now. He has to voluntarily walk from where he is out through that gate up here and into this room. And I brought him up here yesterday once, and I'm going to do it again. That's bringing him up here now. That's a matter of teaching him how to do this so that on Monday when Sydney comes, it's not a big deal. The reason I'm giving you all this weird view is because I'm putting up the legs to the tripod so I can let you see what happens here, because it's pretty cool. Abe's really cool. There's really nobody like him that I've ever seen. I don't know where to put this exactly. You've seen this. You know what this looks like. It's a doorway. It's a step up there and a step up there and a doorway into there. So I'm going to put this over here so you can watch. The odds are, when I put this halter on him, he's going to kind of halfway fuss. Maybe I ought to put it at the other end. The odds are when I put this halter on him, he's going to halfway fuss because it's a crummy day. And he's a good guy, but crummy days don't cheer him up a bit. And tell you the truth, they don't cheer me up just a whole heck of a lot either. So, but he's a good guy, so it'll be okay. Now, I don't need this stick in here. I'm still using it because once I start, it's a habit and I forget to stop. Donkey. Yesterday was the first day we ever came up here together. He'd ever been up here. Come on. Get up here. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Step up. That's a boy. Wait, oh. Let's see, Sydney can work on him in here. We'll be out of the wind. It's not real good light, but there's enough light for her to see what's going on. And he's not real thrilled. Yesterday I brought him in here and took him back out. I didn't tie him up. Today I've tied him up. This is how it works. You know, you do a little more each day than you did before, and you build a knowledge base out of all the things that you do put together. And he's getting a little funchy. I'm going to get him out of there. Hang on, buddy. I'm coming. I'm coming. You guys don't understand. I understand. Hold, buddy. Steady, steady. Easy, easy, don't panic. Everything's fine. We'll go. Hang on, me first. Okay. Come on. Step up. Good boy. Oh, that's good. So that's 2 days. Saturday and Sunday will be 3 and 4. On Monday, by the time we come up here and I tie him up, he'll be placid. He'll be cool. He'll be happy. He'll stand in here, and Sydney will work on his feet, and everything will be fine. This time of year, I feed him relatively small amounts. That's not very much hay right there. And I feed him several times a day because I want him to have a pretty constant flow of energy to keep him warm in this extreme weather. I mean, he's got ice all over his coat. You know, I don't know how well you can see it, but if you look at his shiny butt there, that's just ice all over his coat. So I want him to have enough energy continually provided to him just to keep his metabolism running at a good enough pace to keep him warm. But I don't want him to have too much sugar. I don't want him to have too much nutrients. This is the time when what I want to feed him is carbohydrates. And so that's why I went back there. This hay over here has never been rained on. You can see how much greener it is. And it's got more sugars in it. It's higher energy, but it's also, since he's been foundered badly, I got to be careful about the kind of nutrients I put in him. So he's standing here, you know, and he's cool. He's eating it, and he's happy with it. Patch is out there. I don't know how well you can see her. She's out there by the fence. I'm going to go back up in that same stall, and I'm going to get her some hay. And I'll use my stick to walk across that pasture, or that barn lot, because it's covered with ice. She's eating now because I gave her some hay yesterday and she didn't come up, but I always give her some when she comes up because I do. It's our policy. Anyway, thanks for coming along. Cold day in climate change Northwest Missouri, but this is extremely much a climate change winter. This is not a pre-climate change winter, and people who would say to you, well, you know, the climate change didn't cause this weather, would be mistaken. Climate change very directly caused this icing, and it sucks. You know, in most ways, in almost all ways, climate change is harmful to everything, us included. And what's even worse is that of the total ecological disaster we're facing, Climate change is just the tip of the iceberg. Thanks for coming along. I'll talk to you later.